catch. I love it when you catch somebody in a scene. I love entrances and exits. I love doing all the work about, well, let's backload about where the guy's coming from and why, how he got here, and where's he going. I love to finish scenes. Anytime there's the old ... finish it out, write it out. Expound, just finish, right? And I write a lot on scripts, write way more than I ever actually say, but I have it. It loosens me up on the entrance and the exit. And I like it when I'm seeing actors, and I think I like my work best when I'm feeling like I'm being caught coming in and caught going out. And maybe if in the entire picture, if you feel like that 2 hours that you watched was not just a finite piece of story. I like watching films and characters. I'm watching the film and I love imagining what they were doing the 5 years before and where they're going after that, the 5 years after. There's always a prequel and a sequel and a follow-up, even if there's not in films. I like to at least have that understanding and feel, and let my imagination go, that I got a real good idea what this guy was doing the last 5 years and what they'll be doing for the next 50.
Yeah, I just saw this Rumi quote that I love. Set your life on fire and seek those who fan your flames. The Philly translation of that is, don't be hanging with no jank-ass jokers that don't help you shine. The prerequisite for spending time with any person is that they nourish and inspire you. They feed your flame. Look at your last 5 text messages. Are those people feeding your flames or dousing your fire? Put your phone down for just a second and look around. Look to the people around you. Are those people throwing logs on your fire or are they pissing on it? The people that you spend time with are going to make or break your dreams. Everybody don't deserve to be around you. You got to defend your light with your life. So
first day of rehearsal, and everybody sat around in a circle cross-legged on the floor, and all I'm thinking is, oh my God, he's going to do trust exercises, I know it. And panicking, or that he's going to start talking about Stanislavski and things that I know nothing about, or worse still, Shakespeare, which I also knew very little about at the time. And lo and behold, he went around the circle and said, I'd like to know, who do you all act for? And I just was last in the ring, so you can imagine my mounting anxiety, Julie Christie, Derek Jacobi, and all these extraordinary actors, Ken. And every single person said either a parent or a loved one who had passed away. And I'm sitting there thinking, I know what I want to say, but I'm going to wait for somebody else to say it first, and nobody did. And it got round to me, and Ken said, okay, Kate, so who do you act for? And I looked him right in the eye, and I thought, it's a risk, but I'm going to say it. I said, I act for myself. And it's really true. It's not a selfish thing. I do it because I really love it, and I really need it. And it's only in the last few years that I am able to kind of sit back and say, okay, that was my calling then.
It's one thing to get a performance out of an actor. It's another thing to leave that actor feeling better for every movie they do, and that's what Sean did. So I think with help from people like him, probably by finally realising I'm 42 and, it's time to get over yourself, I'm starting to feel that confidence now. I just always thought, if you're an actor, you should feel like you should get the job. There's another 100 guys who think they should get the job, but if you don't believe it in your heart, then you're never going to get it. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go and study. It really was where I think I grew up. It's when I first started to contemplate who I was. I wasn't just reacting to things that happen in life. I was like, okay, who am I? What do I want to do in this world? What do I want to say?
If any of you can adapt this philosophy, and I think, honestly, it could change your professional life or the way you see things. What I perceived to be a job interview was an audition, right? It makes sense. They're auditioning, they're going to produce a television show or a commercial or a movie or a play or whatever it is, and they need to hire actors to do so, right? So I used to think that, well, I'm going in there to try to get a job. But when you put yourself in a position of need or want, what happens is that you relinquish power and control over to some unknown entity. It just evaporates out of you if you need and want something. You are not in a position of control. And in an audition, and this is the same thing when you're going in, if you're a writer or a dancer, if you're going in to pitch a story, to tell a story. As a director, I read this story, this is what I see. If you need and want that job, it'll show. It'll seep out, and people will be able to tell that there's a need or want there. Nobody wants to hire someone who actually needs a job. We want to hire people who are confident in what they're doing and saying and selling it. It makes us feel empowered to give, right? That's the same point of view you need to take into that room. I'm here to give you something of value. Now this is where it gets a little tricky, because you can't look at it in a conceited sort of self-centered way. My gift is so valuable to you, man. You are so lucky. I'm giving you a gift. You're welcome. It's not at all that. It is a quiet confidence. But if I ask every one of you if you were talented, you better say yes. And I don't want to hear the false modesty. Well, if you're doing that, if you're doing the dance of, well, I can't release it, then you don't belong in this profession. Sorry, but you have to develop and it's not being boastful, it's just saying, yes, I'm talented. And I own that, and I value my talent.
I mean, I was 15 when I came out to LA to audition, so I don't think I was even, cooking with all 4 burners. And it's one of those things where you're like, I'm so lucky to be doing this that it's not like you can really complain, but I missed going to my best friend's wedding because of it. So it's like, there are those things, but I think we all have that. I mean, in any job, there are sacrifices. In any relationship, there are sacrifices. We're all, as human beings, dealing with that, balancing all the things that we want to do and we dream of doing with our responsibilities and our relationships. And yeah, so.
Being an actor is the first thing that I remember wanting to do in life. I remember at 14, 15 years old, watching some classic films, spending months and months watching all the great classics, all the great performers of the past, and being so incredibly inspired by them and saying to myself, one day I want to come close to doing something that good. So I think that thirst or that drive to just achieve what I believe is something as good as, those heroes that I have is what continues to make me want to do this.
I've thought a lot about the power of empathy. In my work, it's the current that connects me and my actual pulse to a fictional character in a made-up story. It allows me to feel pretend feelings and sorrows and imagined pain. And my nervous system is sympathetically wired, and it conducts that current to you sitting in a movie theater, and to the woman sitting next to you, and to her friend, so that we all feel that it's happening to us at the same time. It's a very mysterious and valuable resource of the human species. That empathy is the engine that powers all the best in us. It is what civilizes us. It is what connects us to these women who live enshrouded and muffled and beaten down and broken in cities and towns so far away from us as if to be in a different galaxy. It enables us to feel their despair and their anguish as if it were our own.
Yeah, I guess the thing is, ultimately, it's that rungs on the ladder going up, rungs coming down, with exceptions to both. But because I think I've always had a pretty good work ethic, and I also I believe that, and Lord Attenborough told me this 20 years ago, yeah. Dickie, who passed away recently, he said, when you find your ambition, all this stuff will clear up. Now, it's never that simple.
When you find your ambition?
My ambition, yeah. So when you stop thinking about yourself as someone who's on the outside, and you start really seeing what's possible for me, what could I do, how could I put these jabs together and maybe get a shot at the title, that's when he thought all this other stuff would clear away. and it wound up being something that was apropos not just for me, but for for a lot of other people.
What it is, I like repetition. There's a saying goes, repetition keeps me green.
Yeah.
I love that saying.
Repetition keeps me green.
Keeps me green, because fresh.
Right.
Because the idea that we do performances over and over again, you would say, well, doesn't that get boring or stale? But no, it's in the repetition that the creation comes, that the expression comes. Because I'll give you an example. I was doing Richard once, and not particularly well, and this show was going on, and we couldn't get this court scene with a lot of people in it. I didn't understand what I was doing in the scene. So we would call rehearsals. We would rehearse it and stuff, and we would talk about it, think about it, like all this kind of work where people together are trying to figure out something. And the 85th performance of Richard, I did it on my 85th entrance. I knew the court scene. I understood it. I was there. I could play it.
But not in 84.
Not in 84. I might have been getting closer, didn't realize it.
Yeah.
I gave up the ghost, I guess. I just gave it up and said, oh, screw it, it's not going to happen, and I'll just keep going on. And I found it. So, when Sam Levine, remember the great actor Sam Levine? When I was watching The Royal Family once in the theater, and Sam Levine comes in, just opens the doors and comes in. And I was a young actor at the time, and I thought, wow. As soon as I saw that, I just said, whoa.
That's an entrance.
It's an entrance. It wasn't an entrance. It was something else. It was a gift. He was opening the doors to something spectacular with light in it and everything and energy and joy. And you know what it was?
What?
He's done it for 50 years.
Yes, exactly.